Hello everyone, this is Monster Tamer Bloba coming at you guys with another Kindred Fates video. This time we have something a little bit more special. Joey, one of the devs from Kindred Fates, was kind enough to actually show us the exact stats for each of the Kinfolk in the alpha so far. Now this is as of patch 1.16, I do believe, and without further ado, let's get in here looking at them and talking about them a little bit. First up, we have Ember. We can see Ember has a health value of 255, stamina of 100, attack of 60, special attack of 100, defense of 100, special attack 110. Now what this means, 100 is the average stat for everything besides health. Health averages for 250, I believe it was. So it'll give you an idea of what the Kinfolk is good at and what they're maybe a little bit worse at. Also, each Kinfolk has the exact same amount of stamina as of now, but they use different amounts when they dodge or jump. Now, we can see Ember is a little bit more of a bruiser, which we already kind of knew. He has average defense, slightly above average health, and special defense. Very, very low physical attack, and average special attack. This makes up for the fact that he actually has some really strong moves, and this extra defense, this tiny bit of extra defense and health, gives him a little bit more oomph to help make up for his bigger hitboxes. Overall, Ember is pretty much about as balanced as I thought he would be. I would have honestly thought he would have a little bit more special attack for the kind of damage he does, but this is the stats, and the stats don't lie. Moving on to Kadoki. Now this little friend has a little bit of surprise here. He has 235 health, which is much lower than average. 70 physical attack, also very low. Not quite as low as Ember's. 100 special attack. 130 defense, like as in physical defense. And 90 special defense. So Kadoki's physical defense is actually quite strong. His health, you can tell, isn't the greatest in the world if you play him. He dies pretty quickly, but we don't really see many matchups against Kadoki versus like Mechat or Slifer or Shovelit or anything like that, because he's not played a whole lot, so we don't really get to see that physical defense in action. Most of the time, it'll be ranged Kinfolk taking him out, which is where his slightly below average special defense hurts the most. Moving on. Next. Oh, wait, actually, before we move on, I want to point out that Kadoki's vines do physical damage, and if his future minions will be doing physical damage as well, then this low attack stat could actually hurt Kadoki quite a bit, because that his minions will be doing less damage overall. That's just something to keep in mind for a potential Kadoki buff. I think that Kadoki players would not mind seeing his defense lowered in exchange for his attack being raised as he gets more minions that use physical attacks, if that will be the case. Next we have Lumola. Now, we see here, Lumola has 260 health, slightly above average, which makes sense. Very bad physical attack, which is alright because like Lumola's only physical attack is dash, I think. Most of the time that's a utility rather than an offense move. Low special attack of 80, which is quite surprising to me considering Lumola's Righteous Light is known to take off a hefty chunk, almost as good as Explosion. So that'd be interesting to see that in the hands of a more offense-focused Kinfolk. 90 physical defense, which makes sense because when Lumola gets caught by Slifer, it's pretty much over, or at least you're going to lose a huge chunk of health if he gets you into a stun lock. And then 120 special defense. These stats kind of make Lumola out to be what it is, a sniper. You want to stay away from the combat. You do not want people to get close to you, and you want to trade hits at a range if at all possible, and the special defense and increased health make this possible for Lumola to be an effective ranged combatant. Next we have Mechat. All around, Mechat I think has the strongest stat array, honestly. 260 health, average, just above average health, significantly above average attack, slightly above average special attack, significantly above average physical defense, and fairly above average special defense as well. If you've ever fought a Mechat, you can see this in action for sure, as Mechat takes a huge amount of punishment to bring down if you're not using status effects. Something to note is I'm not aware of Mechat having any attacks that deal special damage, so that's a little odd. The special attacks like that, maybe it could be a precursor to upcoming Mechat moves though, but you can definitely feel the attack damage he has whenever he smacks you with his basic attack or Iron Fist. Now we're on to Shovelit. As Joey jokingly mentioned, S tier on a tiered list is S for Shovelit. And these stats will maybe give you an idea why. Shovelit has the highest health we've seen so far at 280. He has horrible attack and special attack, but extremely high defense and special defense, making him extremely hard to kill. And with his utility moves like Dig and Quicksand, it makes Shovelit very, very, very hard to deal with whenever you have, especially if you have a melee kinfolk like Slifer. Shovelit can trap you in his Quicksand, and while you can still dodge out, he can just rain rock slides on you and you can't really do anything, because then he'll do Dig, and it's just a whole mess without basically suiciding into him, and you can kind of get a good idea of why Shovelit does so well with these kind of stats here. Vulcan is up next with only 240 health, leaving him below average. Physical attack, 80. Once again, I don't think he has any attacks that deal physical damage, so it's fine. Special attack of 130 is actually kind of surprising. It doesn't feel like it, but then again, maybe his moves. I mean, it's Constant Cloud if you stand in it does huge damage, but his like Homing Shot and Wither and Basic Attack don't do a huge amount of damage, but it's significant. His special attack is significantly high. And then his defense being below average, and his special defense being average with his below average health, that is something you can really feel the impact of, especially when a Slifer gets a hold of you. The Skulkin. Speaking of Slifer, he is the last kinfolk on this list of the alpha so far, and he has completely average stats in almost every way, shape, or form. Has a null type, that's to be expected. He has 250 health, 100 stamina, which all kinfolk have, but the caveat is he uses stamina more efficiently, I believe. Standard, normal attack, and special attack, lower defense and special defense. And I think this pretty well reflects how he plays. He can do some serious damage, but not overwhelming, and he's kind of squishy, which makes sense with his defense and special defense moves. Now, we also can't see if he has like a speed stat value or anything like that, and I'm not 100% sure if these are all the stats that will ever be added, because everything is always a work in progress. But this is what we have so far. So may it help you hopefully formulate a better strategy against each of these kinfolk. Help you get the good old brain turning, think about new strategies of how you can counter each of these kinfolk from a statistical point. But this is Bloba signing off. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Goodbye, and God bless. I'll see you all next time.